you're living down here now? Well, I'm from Belfast now.
As I
I've
know.
been all over. I've looked at that different places. I'm living in London at the moment, and I'm thinking, well, hopefully, I'd love to come back and live in Belfast again.
You miss Belfast?
I think it's a lovely town now.
Yeah, it is a lovely town. It really is.
Once
really,
once the troubles have ended and all that shit's over, it's a beautiful little place, you know.
Yeah, it's fabulous. It's come on amazingly. It's one of it's the in place to be,
man,
really, isn't it?
I tell you, the culture there and the new buildings.
Yeah, the Odyssey is.
It's lovely, lovely
piece of art, really, you know.
We played there the other night in the Empire. This very old, it's like a sort of an old music theatre. Beautiful old theatre.
Excellent.
And it was amazing. Oh, it's great sound there.
Yeah. Can you remember the first time that you met up with Phil?
I was with this Irish show band, and I left them. I left them because I wanted to form a three-piece rock blues group. So after I left, I'd saved up a bit of money with them, and I started going around Dublin to look for musicians, like basically a bass player and a drummer, to form a three-piece group. And I started going around Dublin and all these pubs and clubs on my own. Walked in, seen a crowd of guys sitting there. They looked like a band or a group, and I'd walk over to them and say, "Excuse me, I'm Eric Bell out of John Farrell and the Dreams Showband, and I'm looking for a bass player and a drummer. Could you help me?" And they sort of look at me and they're going, "Who the fuck's that?" And they said, "Do you know anyone that would form a group with Eric?" Amongst themselves, and they all sort of looked at it. "No, sorry, I can't help you." So this went on for about 3 weeks. Everyone I approached, and it wasn't easy because I was on my own, and I had to go into these pubs and clubs and approach people and say, "Do you know any bass players and drummers?" And they're most of them looking at me like I'm something from some alien that walked in. Seriously. So I said, "Oh fuck me, I shouldn't have left the show band, you know." So one night I went into this pub called the Bailey, and Eric Rickson, who is from Belfast, keyboard player, who was in the original Them, the very first original Them from the Maritime Club. I knew him very slightly, and he walked over to me, and I was standing up at the bar. He said, "Hi Eric." Eric Bell. And he's called Eric Rickson, so I went, "Hi Eric."
Hi Eric, hi Eric.
Yeah. So he was still with the show band, but I had left, so he was still earning money from the show band, and I wasn't.
To buy you a pint? Very thin.
So we're standing there, and he says, "Have you left the Dreams?" I said, "Yeah." He says, "Why?" I said, "Well, I got pissed off with fucking music, Simple Simon Says, you know.
Yeah.
And I want to form a group." And he says, "I'm thinking of doing exactly the same thing." He was with a top show band as well, called Terry and the Trixons, which were really big. So he says, "What are you doing tonight?" I said, "I don't know. Let's go down to the Countdown Club." The reason being is that we could get in for nothing because we both knew the guy that ran it.
Excellent. Yeah.
So anyway, we got down to the Countdown Club, and we're standing up at the bar. And again, like I had no money, so he said, "Do you want a sherry?" I said, "Yeah." That's all I sold was cheap sherry. It was fucking desperate, horrible, but lethal.
Stomach, yeah.
Like it was like sort of.
The Jack, excellent.
That type of stuff, you know.
Yeah.
So we have one of them. So we're standing there, and he's going, "Did you ever try acid?" And I said, "No." He says, would you like some? I said, "Yeah, give it a go." So he brought this little micro tab about that size. He says, "Bite half of that and give me the other half back." So I said, and about an hour later, I'm sort of going, "What the fuck's this?" You know? He says, Oh, anytime now. So we sat down on the floor in the contact club because everyone then sat down on the floor and rolled joints. That's what it was like. There was a big change. 1 minute everybody's straight up and down going, what the fuck? Yeah. And like 2 months later, they're all sitting down smoking dope. You know? This was in Dublin.
Yeah.
So me and Eric sat down to have a smoke. And the band that came on, I didn't know who was playing that night, was Orphanage. Phil Lynott was a singer, didn't play bass, out the front singing. Brian Downey was on drums, Pat Quigley was on bass, and Joe Staunton was on guitar. So we're all sitting in this crowd, like, and it's my first trip in acid, like, and I'm sitting going. And this guy walked past me, and suddenly this breeze hit me, and my hair went. It's just a guy walking past. Like,
Right.
Oh, fuck me, this is working. And I heard Brian Downey drumming, and he fucking blew me away.
Yeah, fabulous drummer.
Oh, for fuck's sake,
greatest.
man! I was sitting in again my first trip, and I was like, you know, and I heard this drummer now, fucking what? And I'm going to get him for my band, and I didn't know how I was going to go about it.
Right.
It just hit me, you know, this thought. I got to get this guy. He's terrific.
Yeah.
I didn't even think of Philip, though Phil was amazing frontman. He was doing all these Egyptian fucking shapes. Excellent.
Yeah.
So anyway, they took a break, and I noticed that Philip and Brian went over to the changing room.
Right.
And the other two guys didn't. Yeah, they went up to the bar to drink with their girlfriends or something. So Phil Lynott and Brian Downey is in the changing room, and I'm going, come on. Out of me fucking total. I sounded like fucking Mars, you know. And I got up and I walked over to the changing room. I rapped the door, and I heard this. Who is it? It's Eric Bell out of the Dreams, you know. Duh. So Phil opens the door and he says, can I help you? I said, yeah, can I come in? And it's fucking like... And he brings me in to change man. And I said, I'm Eric Bell out of the Dreams Showband. And I'm looking for a bass player and drummer. I wonder, could you give me any names? Could you help me? And I said, what bar do you drink in? And I said, well, I drink in the Daily. Oh, you don't want to go there, man. That's where the show bands drink. That's who I was with.
Yeah.
You want to go to the Zodiac? So I said, Zodiac? Okay. And then I got up and started walking around the room and started laughing at everything. Because the acid had hit in again. And they said, you okay? I said, it's my first trip in acid. And they went, what? What's it like? I don't think I'd done it before. The smoke, grass and hash, but I don't think I did acid. I said, type of thing.
Yeah.
You know? So anyway, because they knew I was an acid, they sort of went, you know, wow.
Yeah, he's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's cool.
Exactly. And they started fucking talking to me.
Yeah.
So after about 5 or 10 minutes, I said, okay. And Phil said, he turned around to Brian Downey at that point. He says, hey, Brian, do you fancy forming a group with Eric? And Brian said, what? No. And Phil said, come on, man. Orphanage has went as far as it can go. Let's form a group with Eric. And Brian Downey said, oh, okay, Phil, I'll do it if you want. I don't care. Brian was a very cool guy.
Yeah, very laid back.
Yeah, very laid back. Yeah. So Phil came over to me and says, right, we'll form a group with you, but on 2 conditions. And I said, what's that? He says, number 1, I want to start playing the bass. He says, and fed up singing at the front. I want to play an instrument. And Bryce Shields has given me lessons, which he was. And then he said, and the other thing is, Eric, I want to do some of my original songs. And I said, have you got a tip? He says, yeah. Where do you live? I said, Manor Street. He says, are you free Monday night next week?